Can you make a non-alcoholic version of Monkey Brew? I don't think, like, making is it even possible for, like, small breweries to make non-alcoholic versions? That seems, like, really hard. Without, like, big, giant fuck-off machines. You said, Ferment's gonna move to a new area. Where's it gonna move to? It's gonna move to Kurumaya, which is, like, I think, like, 5-10 minute walk below Asakusa. So if you come to Japan, you end up visiting Asakusa, you can, you know, I can go, it's one train station away, or like 5-10 minutes from Asakusa. Go check it out when he opens up. I'll let you guys know where he opens up his new location. And I'll make sure that when the video's out, that when he does end up changing it, we'll change the location. It's kind of nice that, I think the location now is really good, but obviously, I mean, he has a reason to move. And it's good for me, because it kicked me in the butt. I was like, well, if he's moving, I'll do the video now then. Non-alcoholic beer is made by a special strain of yeast which lack a certain gene, so when they ferment, they don't produce alcohol. Oh, interesting. If the new stores open up again, will you do that event again? I mean, the event was really fun. I'm down to do something like that again, for sure. It was a lot of work, though. I'm not gonna lie. Because there was a lot of steps, obviously, to doing it, right? Like, we had to... Obviously, you know, I had to discuss with Junta a bunch before about the idea, making sure it's okay. I then had to go and pick the flavor profile. I had to come back... Well, you know, and these are all days, you know... I think what people sometimes forget is that, like, obviously you're just seeing a video, but sometimes you don't, you know, there's a lot of people, like, I have to make sure Paul's available too, you know, to come film, and I have to also pay Paul for his time, obviously. So all that kind of stuff just adds up. And then it's like, that takes like half a day, right? And then the next day we did the making the beer, which took like a full day. That took like a full day. And then we just have to wait. But then, you know, before we went there for the live stream, we went to talk to Junta a bunch just to make sure that he was okay with everything. And make sure he was super on board with what we wanted to do. Because sometimes, you know, I know it can be a lot, especially when people are showing up. And I don't want anyone to be uncomfortable, so just gotta make sure everything goes smoothly. How much is Monkey Brew? I think... I believe the pint of it was 1,400 yen. So I think that's like, what, like 10 bucks? $9.40. $9.40 for a pint of it. So, expensive for Japan standard, but, I mean, craft beer is quite expensive in Japan in general. Compared to the cheap, like 400 yen, 500 to 600 yen beers you can get. But it is a pint as well, so it's more than what you'd normally get at like an izakaya. And a half is like what? It's like 230 milliliters, and that's 900 yen. That's $6 for a half. As long as it's good. Best cheap beer? I mean, you can just never go wrong with like Sapporo and that kind of stuff, you know? What's Junta's price for his other craft beers usually? I think normally around 1,400. They all tend to be about 1,400 a pint. When it's craft beer, I mean... It's just different, man. I think sometimes we get used to the prices of like, obviously like a mainstream beer or something, like a Budweiser, whatever it is, or Kirin, all this stuff, but you just have to remember that obviously like there's just different scales going on. You know, I think even if Junta or any other local craft beer person made beer, if they use the cheapest ingredients, you know, that's still like, there's a fuck ton of electricity, that's a fuck ton of water being used, gas being used, heating up the water, a lot of boiling water added, you know, rental space. This is all stuff that adds up quite a lot, I think. And I think sometimes people will forget that, you know, you're not often just paying a premium for a premium product, but there's just a lot more costs involved for an individual. Because he's a solo guy, he runs it all himself. And then he you know, has people come and help serve food and stuff, but he does it all himself. And so people are like, yeah, it's kind of expensive. And it's like, well, I mean, kind of has to, because he's not going to make a fuck ton of money on each beer. And if people only come in and drink 2 beers, you know, you need either a fuck ton of customers, or you need to charge a little bit extra and make the vibe better, right? Like make it so people can come chill, have a couple of beers. It's tough. I mean, it's tough, right? Because it's kind of hard for everyone right now. Like, I feel like a lot of people are struggling. And so I think, it's just, everything's fucking expensive now. Today, some channel learned about an economy of scale on the CdawgVa channel. Which is hard, because sometimes, like, if you're so used to consuming something, like, if you just have bread, and you buy bread from the supermarket every time, and then you go to, like, a craft bakery, and then for some reason it's a little bit more expensive, and you're like, I don't like that. And it's like, well, there's just different things going on here. Margins are tough, man. And Especially with everything being so unstable right now. You know, prices going crazy. Business owners like have it tough. I guess I mean, being a solo business owner right now would be pretty fucking tough. I think a lot of the craft beer stuff is also imported from America, which also is a terrible time to be importing things from America or Canada, I think. I mean, like, for me, one of the main amazing, like, draws and appeals of Japan has always been, like, the small local businesses. That's what, like, really makes Japan awesome. And Tokyo especially, I think. Like, every single, like, best fucking ramen store is, like, run by some dude that just fucking loves ramen, and he's making, like, 50 yen profit on that bowl or something. You know? So you just gotta, I don't know. For me, it's like a no-brainer of, like, I've gotta fucking support these cool people doing cool shit.